Hello guys and welcome to season 2 of the F1 Manager 2022 season. You're joined by your seasoned host and obviously YouTube creator AMG Denzel Clarkson, and you join me, as I said before, to join us as we go for the hunt of an 8th World Championship for Sir Lewis Hamilton right on cue. Guys, as you know from last season, we came so close. Actually, let's fill you in with some news. So, over the winter break, we've been developing the W13B. But before that, Mercedes gave us our end of year review. We finished second in the Constructors' Championship with that wheelbarrow of a car. Lewis Hamilton finished second in the championship, unfortunately, losing out to Charles Leclerc. And our rating within the team absolutely grew exponentially. 1,000 points to 949 from the beginning of the season, 750 points to 728. We gained 187 points to 155, and our heritage has gone up by 1 click. Love to see it. Also guys, a bit of extra news, extra bit of sauce for you guys. We've had some changes in the driver market. So, let's have a look. The Red Bull lineup stays exactly the same with Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. However, Alfa Romeo have had a switch and decided to get rid of Zhou Guan Yu for the saltfish patty Fernando Alonso. Also, as you may be able to see from the graph below, Pierre Gasly has moved over to Alpine, just like in real life, but Oscar Piastri unfortunately is still the reserve driver. Sebastian Vettel also makes a last minute move over to AlphaTauri, not retiring, and Alex Albon makes a move from Williams all the way to AlphaTauri 2, with Nick de Vries taking a reserve drive. McLaren decided to make up with Daniel Ricciardo as they want to try and keep under the cost cap. So without having to pay additional money, they decided to keep obviously Ricciardo and Lando Norris. Nicholas Latifi, Goat Tiffy, gets a drive at Haas, whilst Kevin Magnussen and Pietro Fittipaldi finish up that lineup. And as for Aston Martin and Williams, Stroll and Zhou Guan Yu with Hulkenberg as a reserve, and Yuki Tsunoda and Mick Schumacher finally tie up the end of the grid. So there's been a lot of movement in the driver market, but as you can see, it's going to be a really interesting season. Now, before we even continue, guys, just like to say a huge shout out to everybody that's here. So let's see who's in the building. We got Mike Fowler in the building. We got MJ in the building. We got Jess. Hey, Jess, what's going on? We got Mary as well. Hey, Mary. We've got all the original OG subscribers of the channel here in one place. We love to see it. So without further ado, let's get on with the first race of the season. So we've been developing the W13B over time. Over the winter break, we've been trying to spend as much money as we can to get this car as quick as we can. We've made some revisions to the car to make it less prone to mistakes. Still though, Lewis qualifies in 3rd place, which I would have liked to see him probably in 1st or 2nd, but still can have a decent race from there. George Russell, not the greatest start to the season, and George Russell's position is a very interesting one, because also what I haven't mentioned to you guys is we signed Felipe Drugovich as a reserve driver. That's why good old Nick de Vries has gone over to AlphaTauri as a reserve driver. What's going on, Generous Dave, with the howler in the chat? So really interesting times ahead. Let's see how it's gonna go. We've got a 2-stop strategy today in Bahrain. We've pretty much fueled up the car to the brim. So without further ado, guys, let's start the first race of the 2023 season with the W13B. Let's go.
Clear skies tonight, with the drivers having now arrived at their grid positions. And here we've got Lewis Hamilton. They've managed a 3rd place start for this race, but can they turn it into a win? And here we can see Russell. Not as close to the front as they might have wished for, but we know the race order can change a lot during those first few corners. Everything's been building to this. Here we go with the Bahrain Grand Prix.
5 red lights.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
On board with Hamilton. Gonna tell Hamilton to push. This season we're not taking no prisoners. Hamilton on the attack. George Russell on the attack. Ooh, but Sergio Perez seems to try and get down the inside. Lewis is not having absolutely none of that. Let's go into the first corner. No big crashes so far. Ooh, Lewis gets boxed out. Annoyingly for Lewis, he's gonna have to do some work to get that pace back. George Russell also on the back of Sainz. Come on, Lewis, keep your head down. Don't freak out just yet, buddy.
Cool the tires as much as you can.
Copy.
Ooh, Sergio Perez goes defensive. He jinked to the left. Lewis Hamilton gonna go to the right. Mary saying that George should get the sack already. Let's see, Mary. We're gonna give him another chance, but this year definitely has to up his game. Sergio Perez is trying to hold us back from catching the lead too. But Sir Lewis finally gets the job done.
Really well executed.
Bono, very complimentary of Lewis Hamilton's move there. Now we need to get Lewis back within a second. He is. They're still looking quite close. Tell Lewis to go neutral. Let's watch it from George's perspective. Looks like he's going to try it around the outside. Go on, George. Go on, George. You really have to do a lot better this season. As we discussed before, we got Felipe Drugovich in the wings. In the event George Russell doesn't get his stuff together. Just going to tell him to push a bit on the fuel.
Let's lift and coast.
Copy.
As he goes to the inside of Sainz here, can he get the move done? Ooh, Sainz nearly squeezes him onto the curb there. George Russell gets the job done. Well done, George. This year you've got to prove the critics right.
Great job.
Sainz is still looking for the move, still looking for the move, still looking for the move. Wow, Sainz is being really stubborn here. Doesn't want to lose ground. Decent start from Russell.
DRS has been enabled.
Right, can tell Lewis to push a bit.
Just keep the pressure on Lewis. You can do this.
Okay.
And think about let's lift and coast.
Yep.
Similar instruction for George. Gonna tell them to push. Lewis looking like he wants to make the move on Leclerc. Let's see what happens.
So just cool tyres down.
Understood.
MJ says acting like Pep. Bro, hopefully I can do better than Pep today, man, because he lost and we don't want to lose.
This garage has just gone mental.
Lewis actually got past everyone. Jeez, Lewis out in the lead of the Grand Prix. Love to see it. But hopefully he can build a second gap.
Mercedes gaining ground. Let's take a look at the replay. Now,
Did Lewis
watch
overtake
this.
two cars?
Lewis Hamilton involved in this one.
Jeez, Lewis down the inside. Sensational move on Verstappen
And that's more places
and
gained.
Charles Leclerc
You
there.
just can't
Really
look
trying to
away.
make up for lost ground from last season. Love to see it.
Back in the garage,
Mercedes
the team
mechanics absolutely
loved it.
infused with that move. Great stuff from Lewis Hamilton. But it's not over. He's still within 4 attempts.
Increase in lift and coast.
Understood.
Tell George Russell to use some of his tyres here and push.
That is fastest lap.
Lewis gets the fastest lap as well. Get in there, Lewis. So now we're really in control of this race, which is lovely to see. But Verstappen goes for a move around the outside. So again, really have to be strategic with when you tell Lewis to push, because he's used up a lot of his energy and he's only within a tenth of Verstappen. Either way, he's at the front still, which is good. Just gonna tell George Russell to take it a bit more easy here.
Race position gained for Mercedes.
And tell Lewis to push, maybe build a bit of a gap. This is a bit risky. As we know, if you tell the drivers to push too hard, it increases their probability of having an accident, which we don't want to see. But at this point, if Lewis can build a gap to Verstappen, it will do him the world of good when it comes to the next round of pit stops in 9 laps time. But Verstappen's got through. Verstappen has gone through. So we'll see. What we'll probably tell
Red Bull moved up.
Lewis to do is save a bit of tyres at this stage. It's only lap 4.
And
So-
think about increasing lift and coast just a little.
It is a marathon, not a sprint, as they say. Mary says Silverstone move there. Absolutely, Mary. I think the famous words are, through goes Hamilton. And we love to see it on this channel, so hopefully Lewis can keep it up as he's within 2 attempts of Max Verstappen. Speaking of things going through though, Russell really needs to pick up his pace. He's dropping behind this pack of 4.
Such an awesome job, mate.
It's a race position gained for Mercedes.
Side by side with Verstappen. This is some crazy stuff. Let's actually go on board with Verstappen then. Or should I say, snacks Verstappen, in light of the cost cap news that came out earlier last week. Let's see if Red Bull have developed this year's car in light of the budget rules. Wisely said, Mary. Wisely said. You know the words. So Max is using a bit of his energy already. Let's go on board with Lewis then. So what we can tell Lewis to do at this stage.
Yeah, don't sweat it.
I agree, Bono. Don't sweat it. It's a long race.
And just charge the pack.
Just gonna tell Lewis to just save some energy.
Red Bull gained a place.
Similar story with Russell too. Just tell him to save some energy.
Charge the pack.
Copy.
I like that analogy, MJ. Through goes Hamilton like a young Roberto Carlos. Very true. Looks like Leclerc's thinking about a move as well. Ooh, I think he's gonna send it. I think he's gonna send it. Charles Leclerc sends it. Has the move been completed though? I think it has.
Yeah, don't sweat it, Lewis. Don't sweat it.
Alright, I agree with Bono. Let's just take it easy. We don't want to repeat what happened in Abu Dhabi.
Ferrari advance the race position.
If Lewis can just keep up with these guys and then use his tyres towards the end of the stint, I think we'll still be in a good position. His tyre wear is looking quite positive too. Similar situation, I should imagine, with George Russell. Tense, you're going with Maxi Pad Mike. Would be happy. Oh, tell me about it, Mary. Tell me about it. It's going to be interesting to see what the FIA do, though, because even Bernie Eccleston came out and said that Red Bull are in a lot of trouble, which, you know, is quite a big statement if somebody like Bernie Eccleston comes out and makes a statement like that. But we'll have to wait and see. Like I always tell you guys, I don't like to get too excited, or I don't like to put my faith in people that can't be trusted. So we'll have to wait and see how that one pans out in this new week ahead of us. Hopefully it's more good news than bad news, but you can never tell with the FIA really. Right, so let's go on board with George, because he's just within a second of DRS. He kind of needs to stay there, or else he's going to have a really hard time this race keeping up with this pack. They're all in a DRS train, pulling each other along. Yeah, George is slightly out of the DRS, so we'll tell him to push. Oh, snap, I didn't realize Science was behind him, jeez. Science just came out like a ghost of the night. Crazy.
Oh, and Ferrari just gained a place.
So we're going to tell George Russell to stop saving energy because he's really struggling to keep up the pace.
Charge off.
Okay.
Just going to tell him to go standard. MJ says the FIA are more corrupted than Chelsea versus Barca game in 2009. Oh, bro.
Yeah, copy, all good.
Bro, you brought back some memories, man. That's the one where Didier Drogba goes to the referee. This is the disgrace. This is a bleep disgrace. I remember that match, man. Like, Chelsea could have had like 6 penalties that day. It's crazy. Jeez, man. MJ with all of these great football analogies, it's like giving me huge throwbacks. As Lewis Hamilton still within a whole second of George Russell, Max Verstappen, and Charles Leclerc here, even.
Stop and charge.
Tell Lewis just to push a bit.
And let's push.
As we got Brooker in the chat as well. What's going on, Brooker, man? Hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining us. Max Verstappen and Leclerc fighting really hard. How beautiful would it be if they took each other out? It'd be sensational. Ooh, Lewis brakes really late there. Missed the late breaker himself. Oh no, you still got a bad back, bro. What happened? How did you injure your back? Right, I think this is the perfect opportunity, guys. I think this is hashtag hammer time. If you guys agree with me, let me get a hashtag AMG sauce or a hashtag hammer time. Lewis's battery is fully charged, so we can go full deploy. The risk of doing that, obviously, is that Lewis could make more of a mistake, so we need to be careful here. What should we do? Let me know in the chat. Do we hold station and wait a couple more laps, or do we use the tires now to push? Let me know in the chat. Oh, Lewis is really going for it. He's got a nice run there. Lewis Hamilton round the outside. Ooh, he thinks about it, but I think he's gonna think better. Hey, we got the DRS Zone podcast in here too, man. What up, dudes? Thank you so much for joining us. As Lewis Hamilton seems to get the move done on Leclerc, let's go on board with Leclerc's perspective. It's neck and neck, hammer and hammer.
Try to keep up now.
Yeah, don't worry, Lewis. Don't worry, Lewis. You're doing a good job. Keep your head. You guys are saying hashtag hammer time. Alright. Let's push. Let's push. Let's do this. You guys called for it, so let's do it. Lewis Hamilton ahead of the pack. I think that's a 2-car overtake. Lewis Hamilton off in the distance. Let's look at the replay.
Now watch this. Lewis Hamilton involved in this one.
Wow, look at the strength. Look at the strength. The W13B, our revised car for the new season. Absolutely flying. Love to see it.
I think it's safe to say that went down well with the team.
Absolutely agree with you there, Crofty. Couldn't agree with you more. Let's see if Lewis can build a gap now, because this is hammer time. If we can leave Leclerc and Verstappen in the dust, it gives us a really good position. Ah, sorry to hear about that as well, Brooker, man. I hope that you can get some well-deserved rest and, you know, get to full recovery, man, because health is wealth. It's the most important thing. Hey, it's RJ. What's going on, Rep, man? I hope you're keeping well, my bro. Honestly, RJ is one of the coolest guys ever. If you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe.
Temps are climbing. Temps are now climbing.
to the DRS Zone podcast.
Okay.
Bono comes on the radio, tells us that the tyres are overheating. Just gonna tell Lewis to back his pace down a bit so we don't kill the tyres. Hey, we've got Cameron F1 inside here too. Jeez, we've got all the stars in the building today. Big shout out to Cameron F1 as well, man. Cameron's one of the GOATs. Honestly, this guy has the most amazing content, most insightful F1, YouTube channel you'll see literally in the space right now. And he gets some amazing, also very experienced guests as well. To get guests like Peter Windsor on, you're doing a good job, man. So shout out to Cameron F1, amazing guy. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to his channel as well. Right, come on, we got Lewis Hamilton 1.3 seconds ahead of the pack. Now what we need to do is get George Russell up there as well. So, got on board with George Russell. I don't know why it sped up 2 times. Hey, you know what it is, Cameron. You know what it is. Always a pleasure, my bro. Always a pleasure. Great to see you inside here. And of course, we love the amazing work you do, man. For sure. Now, on board with George Russell. Let's see if he can put a charge through the pack. His tyres are slightly more worn than Lewis Hamilton, so that's a bit of a concern. But nonetheless, kind of has to do something because he's at the back of this train. Gonna tell him to push a bit. Hey, you got Kyle inside here as well, man. What's going on, Kyle? Absolutely. I think this year's car is a bit more pacier than last year's car. But at the same time as well, I've tried to develop the car in a way so the drivers make a lot less mistakes. Let's see what happens. Ooh, Charles Leclerc going side by side with Lewis. It's all kicking off. Just when we thought we had Lewis Hamilton ahead of the pack, Leclerc stepped on the gas as well and stepped up his pace. Bono tells Lewis, correct thing, stay focused, don't get put off. Lewis and Charles Leclerc going side by side. Let's get an off-board shot.
Advance the race position.
Tries to push Lewis off onto the curb here. Lewis is having none of it. Let's see who gets the DRS. It's Lewis Hamilton with the DRS. Max Verstappen too, trying to make it 3 wide. Let's see how this one goes. Wow, this end-to-end stuff, guys. It's like football. Blink and you miss it. Max Verstappen goes straight into first place. I don't think it's ever been this close, guys. 6 cars that could potentially win the race, all within basically 2 seconds of each other. Crazy. You've basically got P1 to P6, and then Formula B, which is Bottas and Alonso, which is now at Alfa Romeo 2. It's quite an interesting time in Formula 1 as we have the 2 Alpine teammates as well, Gasly and Ocon going side by side. We did say in real life that there's been a bit of beef between Ocon and Gasly. So now we're seeing it play out in real life too with the F1 game 2. Crazy scenes. Either way, that's not what you came here to see. You guys came here to see the GOAT, Lewis Hamilton, trying to push for a race win here in Bahrain. How many laps do we have left until our pit stop? 2 laps. If we pit now, where would we come out? It's saying if we pit now, we would come out in 17th place. So let's actually go back into real time. Who's in 17th place? We'd be stuck behind Latifi, which you basically don't want to do. Even though there is a nice gap between Latifi and Tsunoda, I still think it's too early to box. You could basically get stuck in traffic, which is not ideal. So let's just keep Lewis out with the guys for now. If we do want to get a bit experimental,
So watch out for ERS.
we could basically try and use Russell. We're just going to have to save some ERS. He hasn't really been too productive with his ERS because he's used all of his energy and not getting any moves done on Sainz or Perez. Again, Russell under a lot of pressure this season. We did sign Felipe Drugovich as a reserve driver, so if Russell doesn't step up his game and help Lewis Hamilton or make a mark on his championship hopes this season, he could see probably the back end of Felipe Drugovich in his seat at this car at some point. Let's catch up with the comments. Kyle says Gasly actually joined Alpine on your save. I know, right? It's just like real life. We love it. And Mary said don't pit now. I agree with you, Mary. Probably not with Lewis anyway because he's in a good position behind these guys. Even though we are being warned that the pit window is in within a lap's time. So let's see what happens. Lewis also has a lot of spare fuel on board, so we just have to keep a mind on this too. At some point we can tell Lewis to push. But look at this train, guys. You got Leclerc, you got Lewis, or you got Verstappen, you got Lewis, You got Perez, you got Sainz, all kicking off here. MJ says George is more useful than Nunes. Bro, let me not even get onto Nunes today, man, because honestly, Liverpool had the opportunity to go 2-0 up and he absolutely squandered it. Why? Because he's probably trying to be greedy, trying to take the headlines away from his arch nemesis, which has been Erling Haaland with his amazing start to the Premier League season. Also, Russell complaining about overheating tyres, so let's just go on light. But Russell, man, you really got to start doing a better job, my guy, because you're not really helping us in this championship fight at all. He's been like a passenger. Sponos tells us that we've entered the pit window, but when's the optimal lap to pit? We're on lap 13. And the optimal lap to pit for us is... drum roll, please. As we have a look. It's supposed to be somewhere here, but I'm overwhelmed by the plethora of information that this game does give you from time to time. I can't really see where the optimal lap... There is like an optimal lap. From this little graphic here, I'm gauging it's probably in 2 laps time. So let's stay out for a bit. But we need to not get basically caught sleeping. Alright, no worries at all, Brooker. Hopefully you don't miss too much action, bro, because you know with this game there's always something. You know there's always something around the corner. Safety car, a driver crashing because they've locked up the brakes. It's literally a madness. What can I say? So I think what we'll do, guys, we're going to basically pit Russell next lap. And then I think we're going to try and pull the undercut and see what he can do. So we're going to tell Russell to harvest some ERS.
Charge pack.
Come on.
Whilst he's not making any indentation into this top 5 fight. No way, seriously. I know that he's a Real Madrid fan. But I never realized that Sainz actually had a trial at Real Madrid. That's crazy, man. Could you imagine if Carlos Sainz Jr. was a footballer? That'd be crazy.
So use those tires.
Yep, that's the command. That is the command. See how Lewis is doing as well. Tire temps are a bit hot, but still in this little train. It's underneath the steering wheel icon, optimal lap. Thank you for that one. Thank you for that one there, Dave. Appreciate that. So underneath the steering wheel icon.
This is awesome work, come on.
Mercedes moved up a place.
So I think it's like maybe 2 laps away going off this graphic.
Red Bull moved up.
Mary as well saying to go along. Maybe like 18 to 20. That'd be interesting. Let's see what happens. With George though, I think we're going to have to make some sort of move because he's not really doing anything at the moment. Oh, he needs to hover over Hamilton's name. Okay, so... And then... Side it. I'm sure we'll find it anyway. Right, George, you, my friend, are going to be our little guinea pig. So let's box George this lap. You, buddy, are going to go onto the hards. Pit this lap.
Box, box, box.
Yes, box.
So Russell going to be the one to initiate the undercut here. Let's see how it works out for him. Three-second stop by Mercedes. Not a bad stop, but not the fastest stop I've ever seen in life. Red Bull looked like they're out too. So Verstappen's probably going to come in next lap. Okay, the tire. Ah, yeah. Nah, I know what you mean. Thanks, Dave. Dave's like the ultimate crew chief, man. Right, let's tell Russell to push.
So I need to charge the pack.
Copy.
Push. And attack. Agree, Mary. I think we're going to put Lewis on the hards as well. I think you're scheduled to do that anyway. Let's go on board with Lewis then.
Reduce lift ankles.
Copy.
So one of the Red Bulls are going to pit. Who do you reckon it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be Perez? Or do you think it's going to be Max Verstappen? Let's see. So they're coming around the penultimate corner. Ooh, nobody boxes this lap. Oh, Perez is coming in. Perez has come for a pit stop. And Bono tells us this is the optimal lap to pit, so we're going to go for it. So, going to put Lewis on the hard tyres. We made sure that's ticked. Pit this lap.
So we'll box at the end of this lap.
So this lap.
Yep. As Perez comes in,
Perez in the pit lane.
off he goes. Mary got it right. Yep. Perez coming in. So where is Russell going to come out in all of this? Russell's coming around the final corner. Has his undercut worked? Ooh, it's going to be tight. Where's Perez? Ah, not quite. Not quite. Russell's still some way behind. Tut, Russell. You needed to be a bit quicker than that, mate. If anything, I think Perez's gap is actually extended. The gap's 2 seconds. So Russell just not getting it together. Gonna let him push for a couple more laps. Let's go on board with Lewis as he's in this pack. Ooh, another driver locked up. I wonder who it's gonna be.
Was that a lock-up on the track?
Oh, it's Mick Schumacher. We don't care. Even though, again, it's very interesting to see Mick at Williams now. First race. Ooh, another driver locked up. And there's a yellow flag. Potential safety car. Car's running wide. It's all kicking off.
Seems to have been a lock-up.
Magnussen. So Lewis comes in. Verstappen comes in. Both of the Ferraris going long. Come on, guys. Good stop for Lewis. Bit of a slow stop there for Lewis. 3.2 seconds. Red Bull still got out ahead. I don't think so, Dave. I think he was in clean air.
Lock up there. Let's see what happened there.
Let's have a look at
Now
what happened to
watch
Albon.
this. Here's the moments involving Albon. And this, yes, there. That's the lock-up.
Ooh, he nearly rejoined the track really dangerously as well. Could have taken up Perez there.
Team are really disappointed with that. Let's hope it doesn't set them back too badly.
Oh gosh, Albon and disappointment. Nothing new there. So Lewis and Verstappen are going to come out. Ooh!
Good job there.
Lewis gets jumped by Perez as well. Jeez. That slow stop from Mercedes did not help. Gonna tell George to just conserve some tyres now. We're gonna tell Lewis to get a bit of a move on here. He's got plenty of fuel to use as well.
Just keep the pressure on. You can do this.
Understood.
And annoyingly as well, Max Verstappen's got ahead of Magnussen, which could be huge for the outcome of this race.
Copy.
And tell Russell to not overtake his teammate. Max is absolutely getting away. Imagine we came out at the same time as Verstappen. But Magnussen's the cork in the bottle here. He's the one holding up Perez. Russell complaining about tyre wear. The guy is having a really bad race today. Ooh, Lewis gonna go around the outside. Thinks about it, but not quite. As Magnussen finally jumps into the pits, where the Ferrari's gonna filter out to. God damn. So Sainz has got ahead. Leclerc's still out there though. Yeah, really bad pit stop, Dave. Really, really bad. Didn't really help us at all. And Verstappen, although he's kind of getting held up by Ricciardo here, so that might help us. Lewis Hamilton trying to do the work on Sergio Perez here. Thinks about it. Sergio Perez goes defensive.
So just cool tyres down.
Understood.
Bono telling us to just cool down the tyres and go on standard when you use a bit of deploy. Charles Leclerc coming into the pits to slap. Alright, let's tell George to push. Let's keep Sergio Perez busy. As I think Ocon's going into the pits as well now, so a lot of guys going along on that stint. Where will Leclerc come out? We get ahead of Leclerc. He's going to be on the medium, so he's gone for a kind of different strategy. Interesting. Leclerc basically going with the alternate strategy. But still ahead of Russell. Come on, Russell, man. Do something. Because if you don't, you're going to be fired by the end of the season. Or maybe even before. It's so infuriating with George, man. He just doesn't do anything. At least with Lewis, he tries to make a move. Hey, Mike in the building as well. He says, is this a one-stop or two-stop race? It's going to be a two-stop race, bro. The tyre wear is so aggressive here, you definitely have to pit twice. So Lewis has built a nice little gap to Perez. And actually, he's just behind Sainz. Ooh, it's right on Sainz's bumper here. Love to see it. Max Verstappen only 1.6 seconds down the road as well, so the race victory still could be on, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Just going to tell Lewis to go unbalanced.
The hot and temps, just going to need some lift and coast.
And save a bit of DRS. As there's a yellow flag here, I wonder why for, or what for. Competitor ran wide. We'll find out who the culprit is. Lewis Hamilton going for a run.
Keep doing this job.
Perez locked up. Love to see it. Let's look at this lock up.
So let's look at this. There's Sergio Perez. Well, they've locked up.
Ooh, and that's what I meant, guys. That's what I meant. They probably told him to push too hard, and he locked up the brakes. So this is what you have to be really careful of.
The team are devastated.
They would
They'll
be
questioning just what happened out there.
Because to be fair, whilst he was doing nothing at all to impact Verstappen's race, he was definitely holding up Russell. So that's an interesting one. As Lewis is just teasing Sainz here. %, agree. Definitely agree, MJ. Russell, he likes to kind of just sit back and enjoy the race like he's got popcorn in his hand. You know, we want a racer. We don't want a Sunday driver.
Lift and coast for fuel.
Copy.
So Russell in the nice little DRS train of Hamilton, Leclerc, and obviously Sainz here. Sainz just at the head end of it. I'm gonna tell Lewis, stop saving energy.
So no need to charge the pack.
push a bit more.
And think about less lift and coast.
So we've got 16 laps until the next pit stop window, so bit of time here. Sainz looking for a move down the inside, or is that Leclerc even? Our championship rival from last season. Ooh, I almost thought that Leclerc made a contact with Lewis there. That was really close. We also have to remember that Leclerc is on the medium tyres.
So you got fastest.
Jesus, it's about time.
Copy.
I'm going to tell Russell
Oh, and Ferrari just gained a place.
not to overtake Lewis. That's the instruction. It seems so. It seems so, George. I think, to be fair to Russell, I don't think he'd crash as much as Latifi, but at least from what we've seen, Latifi's a lot more aggressive. He's in 16th place, which is not bad for a young peddler like him. In fact, oh snap, okay. So everybody's on the medium tyres except for me and George Russell. So as long as we stick with these guys, I think we're going to have a really strong push towards the end, because they're probably going to have to pit for hards, whilst we're going to have to pit for mediums. So it's going to get tasty, guys. It's going to get really tasty. On that note then, let's just leave things as they are.
Increasing lift and coast just a little.
And we're going to fast forward a bit. Just have a look at this gap indicator here. Might have pulled off a master strategy here, guys. I don't know. But at some point, their tires are going to die. So we're just looking at this little gap here. As long as it stays within 1 second, I think we're good. I think they're going to go on soft, Dave. Yeah, if they go into soft, I don't know if they can make it to the end of the race. They might have to free stop, whereas with us, we're just going to stick with the 2-stop. And we've caught up to Max Verstappen as well. Let's put it in real time here. So Max Verstappen used up a lot of his mediums at the beginning. And now it just seems that he's basically within Sainz's range and Leclerc's range and Lewis's range. So this could get really spicy. Let's see what happens. How many laps away are we away from our pit stop? Still 11 laps. We might do Mary, but I want to see if we can save these tires. Because if we push, we're just going to basically get caught up by these guys anyway. Whereas if they pit, then we're going to be in clean air and then we can start pushing. Even though George, Jesus Christ, he's completely fallen off the pace. So I'll tell George. Start picking up his pace.
So push hard, push hard.
Ooh, yellow flag.
Yep. Fine.
Yellow flag. Who's the yellow flag for?
They've locked up and gone straight on.
Okay,
Take a look
Perez
now.
again.
So let's
Perez
look
not
at
having a
this.
great day in the
Here's
office.
Sergio Perez.
That's his
It's a
second
lock-up,
mistake.
and that
Ooh.
could be costly.
I thought he was going to go straight into the wall, but he saved it.
Less lift and coast.
Okay.
They could go on to mediums, but I don't know if they have a new set of mediums, because they're already on mediums and they started the race on mediums. So, I think we're going to have the tyre advantage. Let's see. Kind of need Russell to pick up his pace as well. He's 2 seconds behind Lewis. And save whose tyres, Dave? Should we save Lewis's tyres or save George's tyres? Because George is already 3 seconds behind. So, he's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And with Lewis, if we use his tyres now, then we're going to have nothing to push with when these guys box inevitably in a couple of laps' time. And also, I don't want Lewis making any mistakes, because you know that he's quite prone to making them when we tell him to push really hard. As it is, he's just kind of like cruising. Oh, you're saying save Russell's tyres. Okay, we could do. Let's tell him to save the tyres. Even though, to be fair, I just think Russell's out of this race.
Save a bit of fuel now.
Yeah, copy.
Already 3.6 seconds off the pace. Russell's had a stinker today, as per usual. I think it was Kevin that said we should potentially consider replacing Russell with Bottas. I'm thinking about it, and I don't think he was wrong. This has no race pace whatsoever. Ah, okay, I see what you're doing, Dave. I see what you're doing, yeah. Yeah. I wanted to give Russell a fair chance and let him have a chance, but yeah, the guy is a scrub, I can't lie. So, we might have to do that. We might have to just do the Red Bull Sergio Perez tactics. Leave him out long and use him to block up the other three. It won't do any good for his race, and I reckon Perez will probably end up finishing ahead of him. Perhaps even Bottas too, but if that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do. And Mary saying save Lewis's tyres as well. Yep, Lewis is just on standard at the moment, and his tyre wear is just on this graph here as well. It's literally as predicted. So Lewis is doing quite well. Let's fast forward a bit though, guys, because not much action's happening here really. Ooh, Lewis starting to fall behind a bit. He's within 8 tenths. Yeah, I reckon he does have mediums. Let's see. No, Perez is on the hard, so he's just going to basically copy the strategy we're on. It's a bit of short-term pain for Perez, but it might work out in the end for him. As Sainz takes the lead of the Grand Prix from Max Verstappen. How many laps are we away? 7 laps. Speed this up a bit more. Another yellow flag. Ooh, multiple cars have crashed.
Someone spun out.
And
Let's
it's
take a look at the
Perez.
replay.
What's
We're
happened?
just watching the Red Bull.
Oh no.
That looked like
Oh
a very nasty
no,
spin.
Perez is having an absolute howler. They said multiple cars
And
crashed.
The team had such high hopes today. What a shame.
Jeez. Is Perez trying to create a safety car? Perhaps. Oh, it's a virtual. It is a virtual safety car. But yeah, nothing we can really do at this stage, because if we box now, we're going to have to basically probably pit again. I don't think... In fact, hold on a second. Do we have an extra set of HUDs? No, we have no new hard tires. So we could jump onto the mediums right now, but they probably wouldn't go to the end of the race. So for Lewis, probably best to just stay out. The hash crack. Oh, okay. God damn. Jeez, man. Dave has eagle eyes. I haven't clocked that, because to be fair, Perez to me was completely dead. Russell. Pit Russell. We could pit Russell, but what tires do we put him onto, man? Because he's not going to get to the end. He's not going to get to the end at all. I mean, we got fresh mediums. And we had some scrub soft tires. What are you guys saying? Dave saying go for the mediums. Okay. Let's go for it. I want my guy in the points though, Dave. So if anyhow Russell doesn't finish in the points, fam, man's onto you. Wait, no, now you're saying don't? Now you're saying don't? Okay. Jeez. Make up your mind, man. Oh, okay. Let me know. So don't pay him. Okay. Yeah, it's long. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. We'll leave him. Yeah, no, cancel. Yeah. I don't think there's anything anybody can do in this situation that will benefit them. I mean, these guys could box for the hards, but the hards are going to be dead by the time they get to the end of the race. So I would just leave it as it is.
VSC, VS.
Yep. That's fine, guys. So you can just tell Lewis to save his tires.
I think there's been
Save his
contact
fuel.
on the track.
And
Let's
let's
take a
see this
closer
accident.
look.
What happened?
So let's look at this. There's Sergio Perez.
Oh my days! That's so clumsy. That is such a cartoon incident, jeez. And I think Sergio Perez got a penalty for that as well, ironically. To Russell as well. So in a way, this kind of gives Russell a second chance because the guy wasn't doing niche. But then again, it is a virtual safety car, isn't it? So I guess it just neutralizes the race. You don't gain anything.
Charge a bit the pack.
Yeah, roger.
Jesus, Russell, 11 seconds off the pace. God damn. "27 laps to go, though. So Gasly coming into the pits. I'm assuming this is for damage, though. Yep, Sergio Perez missing part of his front wing. Right there. Okay.
We're going to push hard.
Copy.
Going back with action.
VSC ending.
Jesus, Lewis sleeping.
This has been enabled.
Why has they got
Think back
1.5
to
seconds?
coast.
My guy. Push.
No need to charge.
Copy.
And Dave says, how many laps can the mediums do? Let's find out. Let's find out. The mediums can do... It's saying roughly around 33 laps. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Because in the strategy... saying by the time you do, what, lap 40? So by the time they even do 17 laps... they're already starting to kind of go a bit down. And we want a bit of extra tyre life so we can tell Lewis to push as hard as possible. MJ says, I don't think these men has got his license. Oh man, Perez is having an absolute shocking day. You know it's bad when Latifi's ahead of him. Where's Latifi? In 14th place. Jeez. Latifi actually having a good day. Alright, Dave says don't push the tyres, so we'll just go standard. Gap is 2 seconds though, so kind of want Lewis to get a bit closer to these guys. How many laps until Lewis pits? 5 laps. Lewis doing 47s though. That's not great. He's a second behind these guys without the DRS. We could use DRS, but we've not got much of it. Only got 24%. Let's push though. Let's see what happens. What's the gap to the leaders? 2.3 seconds. Come on, Lewis. Give us your finest work. And please don't crash my car. That would be great. Well, it's coming down. It's down to 2 seconds. 1.8 seconds. Lewis still has some good life left in the tyres, which we love to see. All I want him to do is really just catch up to the back of this pack.
So we are low on battery at the moment.
Okay.
Perez the fastest lap. We want that back at some point in the race, but probably not now. fast forward a little bit. Let's see what Lewis can do about this gap. Ah, the gap's increasing. It is mildly increasing. So maybe we have to go neutral in the ERS. Issue is these guys have got DRS and Lewis is completely out of sight of that pack. So he's not got the top line speed that these guys have, and they're pulling each other kind of away from Lewis, annoyingly. Right. Don't want Lewis's tyres to overheat either. It's fine on this graph though. Ah, Lewis is 3 seconds out, okay. At this stage then we might as well save the battery. So I'm going to tell Lewis to just go standard, balanced. This is the issue, guys. If you fall outside of this DRS train, you're in trouble. It's really hard to get back in there. I don't think the only thing that might save us now is a safety car, A, or B, the alternative tyre they're probably going to go on to in a couple of laps time. 6 seconds the gap, jeez. Yeah, we kind of need something, guys. Kind of need something. Something needs to give. Alright, gonna tell Lewis just to go neutral with his ERS. Yeah, I don't know what happened on the restart, you know, because he's with the guys and then they just pulled away. They just pulled away. Either way, maybe he might be able to make the deficit up when we pit for new tyres in our laps time. A lot of other people are boxing, as you can see. So on Lewis's ultimate lap, surprised Bono didn't say anything there. Bono's even sleeping. So let's pick the medium tyre. Box his lap. Lewis pits as well. 3.1 second again. Really slow pit stop from Mercedes. True, true. Well, now Lewis needs to push and be a bit aggressive if we want any chance of trying to do well in this race. I'll tell him to push on the fuel as well. Leclerc in the pits.
What a lap, man!
Lewis with the fastest lap. Oh, stonking. Oh, it's only 7 seconds. Okay. Let's see. If you can give us a couple more of those, that would be good. With Russell, I think we just have to do the Sergio Perez strategy. Leave him out. The issue is, I think they will come out ahead of him. So I'm going to tell Russell to push a bit.
Push out now.
Yeah, copy, all good.
So I think if these guys pit, they'll come out ahead of Russell. So that won't work. Let's see. Let's get a bit more forward here.
This is absolutely undrivable.
Man, Russell, stop complaining.
Ethan.
Are we boxing or what are we doing?
Staying up, boy. Staying out. Haha, no. It's a tough one, Dave. It's a tough one. Soon as we fell behind the rest after that DRS or after the safety car restart, the virtual safety car, it's always going to be a bit tough. Let's see.
Increase in lift and coast.
Oh, they've gone on to softs. No way they're going to make that last. Really? And who locked up? Another driver's run. Oh, wow. People are falling like flies. So Lando Norris makes a mistake. Oh, they've pitted and still come out ahead of Russell. So Russell's game pretty much done. Let's box him for some new soft tyres then. Exactly that, Mary. Exactly that. We're not going to throw in the towel completely yet. Still way too early for that. Yeah, Lewis is basically caught out with the safety car restart. Russell just didn't have any place. But I have a plan B then. So I'm thinking, don't you worry, MJ. Just far from over.
So box, box, box.
We do need some sort of luck.
Yes, box.
Can't believe they got onto Sus. It's crazy. Let's fast forward a bit, because I just want to see how this pans out, to be honest.
I think there's been a lock-up.
Tell Russell to pit, push as well. Red Lewis, let's see if we can get the fastest lap. That might be a consolation.
It's a race position gained for a Mercedes.
Right, go on, Lewis, give us that fastest lap. Ooh, a yellow flag.
And there's the fastest.
So that's Russell.
Okay.
True, it's like you tell him to do one thing, he does the opposite.
So just cool tyres down.
Right, in a second, Bono. Trying to do something a bit different here. Right. Loose off ERS. But the gap is down to 6 seconds, so it's closed down on Charles Leclerc.
And think about increasing the lift and coast just a little.
Does Lewis get the fastest lap? He does.
You have fastest lap.
So the sponsors will be pretty happy about that. How are we doing on the tyre wear? Tell Lewis to rein it back a bit. We need some kind of miracle. 10 laps remaining. Let's fast forward a bit. Go standard with Lewis. Says we're minus 0.01 or 00, so let's take it a bit easy there. True, not bad, not bad, not bad at all, MJ, not bad. Fast slap as well, but ooh, Lewis runs wide. And this is what I mean, you got to be so careful about telling them to push. Listen, we've got this on standard,
Look at that!
this
They
on
run
standard,
wide.
and Lewis still ran
Let's
wide.
see what happened there. Now watch this. Lewis Hamilton involved in this one. They go wide right off the racing line.
Yeah, strange one for Lewis. He usually doesn't make mistakes like that. But either way, I think that's a sign, guys. Maybe it's a sign that we should just settle for 4th and annoyingly 11th place. Generous Dave, of course, with the howler alert. Standard. Told George just to save a bit of fuel as well.
More lift and coast.
Copy.
As we fast forward the rest of events to see what happens here. Max Verstappen and Science having a bit of a scrap though. That could get tasty. Ooh, Russell's behind Perez, but I don't know if his tyres are going to make it to the end of the race. Let's see.
It's a race position gained for Mercedes.
Ooh, Russell gets Alonso. So that's one place.
Sounds like someone's locked up.
Oh, Latifi.
Here's the
Latifi.
replay. Now let's look.
It had to happen at some stage, guys.
Latifi. They've locked up, but that could have been much worse.
Jesus. If only you'd locked up into the Ferrari. Mary's already
Was a
looking to sack
bitter blow
George.
for the team, and it may have really hurt their overall chance.
Look how stressed the Haas mechanics look now that Latifi's there. 5 more laps to go. Is anything going to give? Well, Lewis is coming up to actually these group of back markers here. There's Lewis. There's Latifi.
Mercedes moved up a place.
Russell up to 7th place, so decent recovery. Tell him to use a bit of fuel. Tell him to use as much deploy as he wants.
It's a race position gained for Mercedes.
Mary, Russell's listening to you, though. Russell's actually listening to you. He wants to keep his job. Oh, Sainz and Verstappen squabbling. It's going back and forth between them. 1 lap to go. And we're on the final lap. Let's go on board with Max Verstappen then, since he's battling
We just got
with
one lap remaining.
Carlos Sainz for the lead. Who's going to win the fight, the first race of the season? Going into Sector 2 then. Max behind Carlos Sainz. Agree, Brooker, agree. Just Lewis just wasn't able to fire up his hard tyres the way the other cars were, so lost that DRS train, and in clean air he just didn't have the pace on his own. That's true, Mary. It's wishful thinking. I hope they do. That would definitely blow up the start of this championship. But Max Verstappen looks like he's got the job done on Sainz. They come around the penultimate corner. Will the Ferrari have the straight line speed? Looks like he's lining Max Verstappen up, but I don't think he's close enough for the move. Snacks Verstappen comes around the final corner. And Snacks Verstappen takes the first win of the 2023 F1 Manager Mode Championship. Let's go on board with Lewis. He's about to take the checkered flag. 4th place for Lewis.
Max Verstappen over the finish line and today's winner.
Not the start to the championship we looked for,
So we
but
have a checkered flag now.
at least we made it. Got to finish races.
Go, but let's keep pushing, guys. I believe in you.
Yeah, we can do this.
Absolutely,
Okay, we'll have a
Lewis.
chat later.
Bottas finishes ahead of Russell. Big kind of red flag there. How can Bottas in a slower car finish ahead of Russell? Russell is on a fraud watch list. Genuinely might have to look at Russell. Because whilst I understand we kind of did sacrifice his race, still not good enough. Russell takes the checkered flag to finish P6. So P4, P6, first race. Not the best of results, but we'll take it. 2 cars finishing in the points. It's a shame the same couldn't be said for Red Bull. But Ferrari getting some really good points there. Yo, what's going on, Chasey Plays? Thank you so much for joining us, man. How's it going? Thanks for joining us. And Brooker, thank you so much as always, man, for tuning in, man. I know we're pretty much at the end of the stream, but thank you for tuning in and, you know, the input, suggestions, support as well, man. It means a lot. It means a lot, man. And for everybody inside here too, make sure that you go and subscribe to Brooker Gaming, one of my top guys, man. Awesome guy. I hope you're back. Feels a lot better too, man. You know, as I always say, health is wealth. And it's important that we look after ourselves.
They'll duel it out in the sand dunes of Saudi Arabia.
So Saudi Arabia is the next circuit. Hopefully it might be a better track for this W13B. Lewis does get the fastest lap though, so we get an extra point for that, thankfully. And then the constructors, god damn it, we're still actually behind Red Bull because Max won the race. And Ferrari, they cleaned out. So yeah, really interesting. Well guys, that's been the first episode of our F1 Manager Career Mode. As always, thank you so much for your guys' support. You know, really looking forward to bringing back this series along with all the other things that we live stream on the channel. So make sure you stay tuned for the next episode. And as always, man, start to the new week. I hope that you guys have a great week. Stay positive, keep your heads up, stay healthy. And until I catch you guys next time, man, take it easy. It's been your boy AMG Dent, and I'm out. Peace.